All right, the fan that is very popular on this channel. It gets praised every time it comes out. I enjoy having an excuse to bring it out. Is the mighty Lakewood P-25. And for those of you who haven't seen on the channel, this fan I bought brand new back in '07, just when about the time they discontinued these. And because I realized they discontinued them, I never used it. So it just sits in the box and it comes out for videos. It's a video queen. That's what it is. And so really any excuse to put it on camera is an excuse to play with it. And I've run it. I've put it in a window to run it for one of the videos, so check that one out for one of the viewers. So the last time we had this out, we were confirming that the blades were tightened down because it appeared in another video, and a YouTuber said, hey, I think your blades are loose. So I said, let's check it out on camera. They were fine. But I did notice there was some, I don't even know how it happened, but some dust on the bottom of the cabinet, on the inside of the cabinet. This thing lives in its box with it closed in a temperature controlled space. So I thought, why not just gently wipe it up and give this thing its first coat of wax, and I might even drop in maybe 2 drops of Zoom Spout on either side on the oil ports, just because it really sits, and why not just make sure it has lubrication. Not put 5 drops in, 10 drops in, just put a couple, 2 or 3. All right, so let's pop the grill off. Eddie has joined us today, and we do not, somebody in another video really ripped us in half and said, you know, your video is way too long and you need to use an electric screwdriver to shorten these things. Look, sometimes you are at the mercy of what equipment or tools you have to work with, and at this moment in time our electric screwdriver is at the other location. We don't have it, and if I would say to those people who claim that the videos are too long, you can fast forward. That is not a problem, right? So if you don't want to watch us do this, then forward it. But I do appreciate for those of you who hang around, and much like some of the other videos and YouTubers who are into the hobby, we don't really edit these videos. We just kind of show you real life, like this is what it is. And because we realize you can forward it if you don't want to spend that time with us. So that's what's going on there. And quite frankly, how long does it take to get the screws out? 30 seconds. It's not like it takes 10 minutes. Then you might have a point. All right, so this video, or I should say this fan appeared in, just trying to think, this video, the blade tightening video, and the comparison to the Vornado Model 80 video. So this will be the 3rd video of this summer that this one shows up in. And again, I don't use it. I have some nice fans that I will like rotate in and like use for like a week or 2. Then I have a couple I won't even do that, and this would be one of them. All right, so he has the front guard off. We're gonna pop off the rear one. The front guard has been off. This is the 3rd time. It's crazy. 3rd time since this fan has been new. When I purchased this fan, it shipped to me in the box, and the blades actually were off in the cabinet. They were just like laying there, and I remember being upset because this thing was like $50 at the time, which seems actually cheap now, but it was $50 at the time, and I thought I just paid $50 for this like heavy duty fan, and the blades were like just sitting there. So I had to take off the guard, and I checked for damage, and there was no damage anywhere. The blades are fine, and the guard was fine. And we took off the grill. Fast forward from 2007 to 2025, it was just, we took off the grill to check the blades. And I knew they couldn't possibly be loose because this fan might have 30 minutes of runtime on it. So this is now the 3rd time. This will be the first time we take off the rear grill. Now, what I do notice on this, and you may not be able to see at this angle at the moment, but the cord runs through the slat, right? And we're not gonna be able to fully take the cord out without breaking the slat, and I'm not going to bust the slat to get the cord through it. So these grills do not need to be cleaned. They just don't. But for whatever reason, the inside of the cabinet does. I have, again, no idea why, but we're going to use some very light cleaner. In fact, I need to order more. So what I like to use is, and this is not like a product placement type of thing because we're not at a point where we're getting sponsors, but what I like to use for gentle kind of duties or applications is the Meyers Clean Day Multi-Surface Everyday Cleaner. This has worked well for me. I mean, I use it to clean in here in general, but it also really works pretty well for the fans. All right, so he's gonna pull that grill back, and just so we can slide that around, we're just gonna throw it off to the side here. It's gonna be kind of a headache to deal with. Not really even a headache. But what I noticed is this, like you can see there's dust. And that is really odd to me because this thing never just sat out. It was always in the box with it sealed. All right, so what we'll do is grab the paper towels, grab some of our Mayers. Yeah. And what people comment on is how shiny these blades are. They really are. All right, so let's just, first time ever cleaning, give it just a light. I love the smell of stuff. It has that like the clean smell, doesn't it?
I hope it smells clean.
Well, that would be a wise thing to say too. All right, so yeah, look at this. This is pretty crazy. I don't know how, like, look at this. I have no idea. The only thing I can think of is it came from the factory, like dusty somehow, and I just never really noticed it because I just assumed it's, you know, it's clean because it's a brand new fan. I mean, you can tell this is a new fan because as I'm wiping this, a lot of times when I do this, you know, there's like rust or even before the rust starts, like there's imperfections in the paint because it's like starting to get ready to rust. But this is smooth, really, really smooth, super smooth. Safe for you and your cloth. All right, so we got that done. It's actually totally spotless up top, but since I got a little spray up there, we'll put it down anyway. You know, if I really wanted to, we could pop off the blades, but this doesn't need like a true full cleaning. This almost really needs dusting. While I'm doing this, the other thing to talk about, another metal bladed fan, is the Dayton the Dayton badged metal bladed box fan that I have. Two of them, one's in service, and this is the first year that's been in service, and it was basically new old stock when I got it, is rusting. And I did a short little video to show the rust. So we're gonna, aside from sanding it and painting it, we're gonna try to fix the rust issue. Not fix it, but stop it for the time being with a little either WD-40 to coat it, or some of the blaster, like rust, oil rust stopper. Okay, so this is good. So we'll that's gonna be a project at some point. So stay tuned to that. Okay, so let's just get the blades. And then I'm going to have, after I get this cleaned, I'm gonna have Eddie apply the wax.
Assume I should put some on the blades.
The wax?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, these things that are already shiny will like be
Blind you.
super, exactly. This is like the cleanest dirty fan I've ever worked with. Alright, so let's just flip it around and just get the blades on the other side. Really don't need to do the cabinet anymore. Yeah, I mean that's. You see any more dirt that I missed?
Just taking the corner.
Oh, like in here?
Yeah, right there.
Okay. Yeah, I made a point to get it on this side when I did it. Yeah, you're right. And I know this doesn't really need to be a how-to video, because it's not a how-to video. It's more or less, it's almost like a blog, because of what this fan is. People like to see it. So any excuse to get it out. But for those, I guess maybe there's somebody who pops on, maybe by the description or the tags of the video, this is not a common fan to clean, and if I was truly cleaning and servicing a fan that is used regularly, it would be a deeper process. Like, we would remove the blades, typically today, like 99.999%, really actually 100% of any new fan sold today that's a 20-inch box fan is gonna have plastic blades. So there's a different process to that. And a lot of fans today do not have oil ports. This still did. So we're going to, while he waxes, I'll go get the zoom spout, and we'll talk about that for a second. All right, yeah, look at the, just, I mean, they're so, like, shiny. All right, do I really, you know what? There's probably, is there any dust on it?
Barely.
Yeah. That's what's weird. Like, you would think maybe there could be dust on the top, because while the lid of the top of the box closes, it doesn't close totally perfect or seal totally perfect. So you think that maybe.
Just a tiny bit of dust on top.
Yeah, so that's just like household dust, right? But
Yeah.
that in there, I don't know what that was. It was almost like dust from manufacturing, meaning, like, I wonder if, like, in the plant that it was built in, there was just dust in the air and it got shipped that way. And I just really never totally paid attention to it, which is surprising. All right, so this is really cleaned up now. Bottom's gonna be clean because it's already, if there's any dust on the bottom, it would have been on this towel. All right, so he's gonna just apply a little wax to all the metal surfaces, and then I'm gonna go grab the Zoom spout, not before pouring myself a beverage. And when I say I'm pouring myself a beverage, it is a non-alcoholic beverage. Sometimes when you say I'm gonna go get a cold drink, people assume it's a beer. In my case, it's iced tea. Alright, I'm gonna go grab the Zoom spout. You need a hand?
Yeah.
What are you trying to do?
Trying to lay it down to get the bottom.
Okay. You probably lay it down. So I was just telling Eddie, I think before we started this today, was these P-25s by Lakewood are very rare. I did get into a discussion in one of the fan groups on Facebook at one point with someone who argued against that and said you can find them at any auction, like any auction site. So I spent some time, and I know it's controversial to some of you old schoolers. I went to ChatGPT and I said, find me a Lakewood P-25 in any online auction. And it actually, lo and behold, pulled up a number of auction sites, and they had them there, however they were gone. Like it just would say auction closed. There was a couple there. There's a bunch of 200Is showed up, they were gone too. And I was like, okay. So ultimately, something popped up on Marketplace in the Midwest somewhere. And when it did, it popped up for $10. A P-25, a Lakewood P-25, and it wasn't beat. The guards, the person said, great condition, guards on both sides, or everything was there, and they had it on in the video, like the short video. So I reached out right away, and I said, and I find that this helps you. So this is a tip to the fellow collectors. I will introduce myself and say, hi. I said, I'm actually a vintage fan collector. And I said, this is a model I'm interested in. Because of that, I know you didn't list it for shipping. I would be happy to pay for shipping and the shipping materials. And usually people respond very positively because they think it's kind of cool. A collector reached out to them. And so this person, there's some delays in the conversation going back and forth, but that has been my experience with Marketplace. Asked me for my zip code and whatnot, and so far so good. As of this recording, I haven't secured it, but there is a possibility that I will have my hands on another P-25. Now, there's the part of me that says I shouldn't have two of these because why? You should have 5 of them. You should have whatever you can find. Because they're rare, and I do get a lot of positive feedback from people when I do videos on this fan. So I thought maybe I should not to make money on it, but like to offer it up to a fellow collector that has wanted one of these, right? I don't know, I'm debating on that. Then the other part of me is like, hey, if it's in decent shape, but not like this type of shape, this is basically new old stock. If it's in decent shape, I might just enjoy it. Not run it into the ground, but periodically rotate it through. So we'll see. Fingers crossed I can secure that. Meanwhile, what's next is locally came up here a 3rd gen Lakewood P-223 that I should be getting my hands on tomorrow. That's also $10, and it looks like it's in really good shape. This will be the third gen P-223 that I have. I do like them. Obviously, I like the 2nd and 3rd gen better. 1st gen being my favorite, just because of the shape of those blades. It's just pretty cool, but I absolutely love the 2nd gen as well. 3rd gen, I still dig it, but it's not as coveted to me. So being that I'll have 3 of them, there's a chance that I'm going to let 2 of them go. So if anyone who's watching has been trying to get their hands on a 3rd gen that's in good shape, drop a comment, and I'd be happy to find a good home. And that's the thing, like I'm just not going to give them to anybody or the highest bidder or whatever. Just looking to place them in a good home to a collector. If I can't do that, what I'll ultimately do is there's going to be a fan meet. There's fan meets now starting to happen more regularly, but in this part of the country, the Northeast, Robbie Lawrence, for those of you who don't know who he is, check out his channel. Go into the fan groups on Facebook. He hosts an annual fan group in the Lehigh Valley area of Pennsylvania. The one being the big one in June, but he just announced a second one in February, just a smaller one-day meetup. If I can't find a good home for the fans, I'm gonna bring them there for a few bucks. They can be had for sure. All right, so the waxing's all set, right? So we're good there. We're gonna get these blades back on, or not the blades, the guards. But what's cool is if you're a viewer, you can see what we're doing off camera in the blades, which is kind of neat. Pretty cool, right? All right, so before we do that, thanks for reminding me, Eddie. For those of you who stumbled upon this video and have never oiled a fan before or don't know what we're talking about, older fans, especially Lakewood, and it's weird because this is actually considered an older fan now, have oil ports. So you don't need to remove the blade or take the front and rear shell off the motor to get to the sleeve bearing. These types of motors have two sleeve bearings, one in the front, one in the rear. Shaft goes through it. Pretty obvious what needs to happen, right? The bearing needs to stay lubricated. Some fans that don't have oil ports have a felt material inside the shell where you can actually put a few drops of the oil into the felt-like material, and then when the bearing needs kind of the oil, it'll do that. Those are what are considered permanently lubricated motors, which there's no such thing. They just want you to throw it out when it dries out and buy another fan. So that's how that works. This, because it has oil ports, it just makes Lakewood, love you Lakewood, because you make life so easy. Now when it comes to oiling your fan, you want a non-detergent oil. A WD-40 has detergent in it, and that's no good. And then I believe that, what is it, the all-in-one or 3-in-1, they have different variants of it. You want the one, I believe it's the blue container, so if you already have that. The red one's no good, I think that's detergent. The blue one has no detergent, and it's good for fans. There even is a little image of a fan blade on the back of that container. But Zoom Spout, you buy one of these, I think we have two of these.
Yeah.
They last, I bought these years ago. They last for years because you only need a couple drops. So Zoom Spout. All right. Just a couple drops. And can I have paper towel? Because the oil port on this, so for those of you who don't know, the oil port basically is looks like a little slit. Not these windows or openings into the motor. It's a little slit kind of close to the shaft. Yeah, so this is mostly not going, well, it's going in, but it's also more. Okay, that's enough. Yeah, I feel like on the earlier models of Lakewoods, the slit was a little wider, so it was a little easier. And those blades are heavy. Heavy for what was on the market at that time. Yeah, these will just spin round and round and round. This had excellent spin down before this, but because we have it open, and one of the, you can get a better shot there, one of the viewers in one of the other videos when I mentioned we had to clean it, did comment to me and said, hey, you might want to think about just dropping a few drops of oil in there just to make sure. Now I noticed the back of this blade set, I've noticed this before, is not quite as shiny. Look in the camera and see how that looks. I mean, it's shiny on camera, but it's not perfectly mirrored crazy. So there's also some imperfections, manufacturing imperfections. I'm sure if I like got crazy, I could buff it, polish it, but that's how it came. So I'm gonna just kind of leave it like that for now. If I was doing like a restoration on a fan, I'd probably try to buff that out. But this fan doesn't need to be restored. Alright, so just a few drops. Keep that bearing. Keep that bearing ready just to sit in the box for another decade and not be used. But you can see the windings, like look how shiny they are. I mean, it's just the capacitor, it's like not even any dust on that. And that, again, that was very peculiar. I think the conclusion to that mystery is going to be it was shipped that way. All right, you want to get the grills back on?
Yep.
And then once we get that done, we'll fire it up and then we can go have lunch. Lunch is very important. What's awesome about this fan is it has that, and we'll turn it on when we're done, but for those of you who have not heard or seen a P-25 before, it has that vintage metallic just sound to it when it's running, where you can hear the blades kind of just chopping the air. We do have a few, if you're interested in fan servicing, and there's tons of, we've done many on this channel. There's also hundreds, if not more, on other channels out there. But if you kind of like the vibe of this channel and like kind of the pace that we talk you through this, you can either check out some of the older videos that we've done on servicing. What we do have coming up next, or fairly soon, is a Lasco, 90s Lasco 3733. We have a, speaking of third gen Lakewood, we have a third gen Lakewood that needs some cleaning. We have a Frigid branded Robeson box fan that needs a little cleaning and servicing. And then the Lasco Ultra. So we have a handful of fans that we acquired recently that we've already done checkout videos on, initial checkout videos that will come back around and do some servicing. So if you have a model that's similar to one of the ones I just mentioned, or even not, the concept is still the same on how to kind of clean and service. And it's good for us to kind of chip away at these, because when the cooling season ends, the fans that have been predominantly in service this year, they will need to be serviced. And it's not that this is like backbreaking work. This video is getting close to 30 minutes. You could do it probably a little faster off camera. And if you had an electric screwdriver, heaven forbid you don't have one and you have to use a toy manual one, and you don't know how to use the fast forward controls on YouTube. You know, whenever you do a video or do anything with the internet, you're putting yourself out there, right? So you kind of have to expect that someone's going to come through and just like cut you down when they get a chance to, for whatever reason. But if you are that brutal with somebody, then you set yourself up for that critique, right? So I never even bothered, but that person who was really rough on that video to us, I could have gone back and looked at their channel and responded in a comment, just like ripping their channel in half, but it's not what I'm gonna do. But my point is, just kind of think twice. Like, everybody's different. This is a hobby. This is not, I am not trying to perform brain surgery on someone to save their life. Now, sometimes I feel like I'm performing brain surgery when I get into these projects, but that's a whole nother story. And that's what this is all about, is learning from one another. And the best conversations are when somebody says, hey, did you try, next time try doing it like this, it's much easier for you. A couple of guys out there will correct me or if I have a kind of a memory fog on a model number, there's a couple of you who are really awesome out there with just calling that stuff out. So that's fun. I also find it kind of funny if somebody didn't like the video, but yet they watched the whole 24-minute video. Like, thanks for watching, I suppose. But for anyone who's considering, for any of this, especially the subscribers, because I do, when people that have public notification when they subscribe to this channel, I do go and look at your channel because I'm very interested in checking out if you have any videos, especially if it's relevant to me, because then I subscribe to you, as well as it helps me understand like what you're interested in and what topics to continue on, right? So like if you are interested in a certain era of box fans, you know, that I'm like, oh great, let's go service some of those fans because we have some subscribers who that's what they're mainly interested in. But don't let anyone, if you're thinking about doing a channel, because I also look at channels that subscribe and they'll say, you know, they don't have any videos out there, which is cool too. It's cool if you're just out there checking out videos. That's what I did for years and years. But if you're thinking about it, do it. It's fun. Like you learn as you go. You learn from others. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, and you meet some great people along the way, and that's been the best part. And then when someone badmouths your channel, just have fun with it. Just be like, yeah, whatever. All right, so we done?
Yep.
All right, so speaking of aspiring to have YouTube channels, that is what I called filling airtime while he works on that. That you could either do it one of two ways. You could just not say anything, and I've seen channels do that, and that's fine too. You're just kind of watching what they're doing, and or you can just ramble on like I just did. All right, so this has been off before. This is not the first time I've taken this off. This is probably like the third time. This is how the fan was shipped, but because the electrical outlet's on the side, I didn't feel like going to get a extension cord to go 2 feet. This cord has like been permanently stuck like this for its life. All right. Do you want me to do it, or do you want to do it? You want to start out on low? Want to go to low? Oh, yeah, on low. Love that sound. This just moves so much air, and it feels like it's effortless. What's that? It's so cool. This reminds me of me being a kid, because in the early 80s when I was really little, fans like this from the 60s and 70s are still around because they were built really well. And I just remember going somewhere as a little boy, like whether it was a babysitter's house, and just hearing like this sound. You want to do medium? And I know I haven't done any shout outs, but having the P-25 out and not saying Lamont the fan man's name would be an injustice. So this video is dedicated to Lamont, because I know that this fan is one that he likes a lot, and every time I pull it out I do think of Lamont, because he's been a positive influence on me and the channel. I'm gonna let it rip. Sound. It has such a 60s metal vibe to it. So cool. Alright, let's I'm gonna cut it and look at the spin down. That's good because that new oil in there, I mean, it had wonderful spin down anyway. We probably won't notice the difference. All right, well, there you have it. Thanks for sticking with us for this 35 minutes and 39 seconds. And if you haven't, we would appreciate if you would hit that like button, comment, love the conversation, and subscribe. And we'll see you soon.